Dane Danger had his waiver denied by the NCAA.
Shocker.
You want to see my surprise face?
Yeah. Very surprising.
There's my surprise face.
Yeah.
I mean, we were hopeful for a while, sure. I don't think hope ever turned into like reality in my mind or confidence.
No.
Like some people had it sort of turn into. NCAA waiver process for Memphis has failed 3 straight years though now.
Yep.
And this one's not surprising. And it leaves them with some holes in their front court. But like how, first of all, when you saw that come across your Twitter timeline, what was your reaction? Just okay.
It was just like, oh yeah, it's finally public that it's not going to happen. I mean,
appreciate it.
Yeah. It doesn't matter how optimistic people felt like the program was. It doesn't matter how optimistic fans were. Like for me personally, I never felt good about it. Like I've seen it too many times, like I've seen these situations where a player has a good case and it makes sense. And you say, I can look at this other example for fill in the blank team with fill in the blank player, and the situation's very similar, and they were granted. As we know with the NCAA, none of that stuff ever matters. It is never the same. It's always different. It's always judged different. Always. There's never we've talked about it constantly over the years. There is no rhyme or reason with the NCAA and the waivers. And, I just never felt confident about it. So when it came out, it was just like, oh, okay, now they officially know, I guess. I feel like they should have known this the whole time, that it probably wasn't going to happen. And here we are with confirmation of that.
And truthfully, like the reason I knew it probably wasn't going to happen is like people will look at, I think Ali Khalifa, who's a 5th-year guy, got a waiver, and Trayvon Mark's gotten one in the past. And like there's been waivers given out all over the country. The problem innately with Dane Danger asking for one is he had academic issues when he was at Baylor.
Right.
The NCAA still fancies themselves an academic and athletic institution.
Yeah.
So when you're asking them to give you lost time, it's just like the DeAndre Williams situation as well. Even though DeAndre Williams, like based on what I was reading, was sort of led astray by his academic advisor. Like he had a real excuse.
Yep.
I think Dane just struggled. You know what I mean? So it's like anytime that academics was a reason that you couldn't play or why you lost a year, you just don't get that year back. The NCAA still stands on some level of business. As much as I can't stand them, as wrong as I think they are at times, they consistently have had this outcome when it comes to academic issues leading to lost years. So shouldn't be surprised. Now, what the Tigers did, and we were wondering because Penny said, we have this, we're going to add more. We're going to add more. So I guess he thought Dane was probably not going to get the waiver. And this was like last week. So we're like, who's this mystery man they're going to add? Because like there's nothing in the portal market at all. So we all were just sort of sitting there. We're like, okay, he's probably going to have to go international, but where does he go? He's going to have to find a big. He ends up signing. We got the news today that Simon Mahok, a South Sudanese player, 19 years old, he's played in the Serbian Developmental League for a couple of years now. And last year in 7 games, he's 7'1", center again, averaged 17.3 points per game, 9 rebounds per game, 2.6 blocks per game in that Serbian Developmental League. So I mean, this is going to be a raw prospect. I wouldn't expect him to just like be night one starting center by any stretch of the imagination. He's never played against competition like this. He's got to round out his game. This is going to be if Penny can keep him on campus, because Lord knows that's been trouble. This is going to be a multi-year developmental pickup, in my opinion. Yeah, but I guess in the event where you have multiple guys go down in the front court, here's at least a 7'1" body.
Yeah, you at least have a body. And it's just one of those things that we've seen year after year, and not necessarily always international with Penny Hardaway's teams, but he does like to get these guys that he feels like are low risk, high reward. And if they hit, they hit. And if they don't, they typically move on the next year. And with just the lack of depth in the front court, It feels exactly like that. Look, this is a developmental prospect. Bring him in. If we're surprised and he can play some minutes this year, great. If not, it's a guy, it's a body that if we absolutely had to, DEFCON level 3, we could bring him in. But it's just one of those things. Like, it's not something to get too excited over. It's an addition, but what does it really do for this team this year? Does he stay long term, even if he is able to be developed into a starting caliber player at the college basketball level? It's just another one of those things. A lot of question marks, low risk, high reward, and we kind of just have to wait and see on how it pans out.
All right, bear with me for a second. I know we have a lot of Tigers fans that watch our show and watch our network here at Bluff City Media. But I have to be honest with you for a second. It's not going to be easy. It's a hard pill to swallow. But I've seen some fight back against the sort of national media perception of Memphis as sort of losers in this transfer portal cycle, or Memphis having a brutal offseason. I saw Jeff Goodman put it out. He said they've had a brutal offseason. I see people fight back against that, and I just want to be honest from where I sit. It has been a brutal offseason. Like really, really tough. Now, one thing I've always and will continue to respect about Penny Hardaway is the guy adjusts and makes things happen on the fly. Like, he doesn't have a single returning player on this team this year, yet I still feel like they're an NCAA tournament caliber team. That should tell you about the job he does in pivoting. But if you want to act like what has happened at Memphis this offseason is normal, be my guest, but it's anything but normal.
Yeah.
When you don't have a single returning player on your roster, you're usually a brand new coach. There's only one other team with no returning talent on their team going into next year. That's UCF. Johnny Dawkins is about to get fired.
Yeah.
So while losing players or multiple players to the transfer portal is normal around the country, what's happened at the University of Memphis is not normal. And I don't think you can act like it is. Now, there could be reasons behind the scenes with money and how they're moving it and how much money is being raised and yada, yada, yada. But as much as I respect the ability Penny Hardaway has to pivot and make things happen on the fly, having to pivot on a constant basis is the ultimate problem I have year to year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah, because what do we talk about with top-level basketball programs all the time? And I know it's changed a lot over the years.
But continuity matters. It does.
Continuity is huge. And it used to be that meant, okay, you return pretty much your whole entire roster. Now it's different because that's just not the case anymore.
But your main pieces now.
But
if they're there.
Yes. Bringing those guys in, having that nucleus and saying, okay, we're going into next year with the same nucleus of guys, and we got young guys coming in to replace them and to keep this cycle moving. Obviously, Houston is the example that we've used forever. It's the perfect example. And at Memphis, like, Penny's had success with these full platoon swap teams that he's had over the last several years. But you have to look, especially this year, and just like you said, it was brutal with who they lost, and replacements were really solid, but Dane Danger was holding things up, and there was just question marks surrounding PJ Haggerty, and it was just difficult. And so it becomes like, how long can you sustain this?
Yeah,
like,
it's not a sustainable way.
Yeah, is this the year that we see it?
College basketball.
Is this the year that we see it implode and go, okay, there's going to have to be some kind of continuity, or this can't happen? And okay, here's my biggest reason, like overarching thought for it not being sustainable, right? So we talk about culture, continuity, these things all the time in college basketball. You can't build a culture like this, right? Mm-hmm. There is no existing culture if it's a new roster every year. Yeah. And with the guys that you're bringing in, of course, you get FaceTime with them, you get to talk to them, you get to recruit them, you have sources that you can talk to about their character and all this kind of stuff. But you can't hit 100% of the time. Like, you're not going to hit character 100% of the time because there are guys that'll fool you. There are people that will take their backs as far as, coaches from different schools and will stick up for them. There's just no way to build culture when you don't have anybody coming back. And the guys that are coming in, you really don't know who they are until they get there. Like you can hear from a coach at another school that this player practices harder than anybody else and he wants it every day and all this, but you don't know that personally until you see it, until you're able to see it firsthand. And so that's my like overarching big issue problem with it is eventually it's going to fall off because you just can't be 100% batting average on this. You will get players or multiple, and we've seen it already.
Yes. Yeah, we saw it 2 years ago. We saw
there is precedent for this. It's not like it's just been perfect every year. A couple of times it's worked, and one time it didn't work, and we feel like that was ego and different things behind the scenes that caused that not to work. But you can't say that's not going to happen this year. Do we think it is? No. Like you just said, we think this is going to be a tournament team. We like what they've put together for the most part. But we don't know what's going to happen in that locker room. We don't know what's happening in the locker room right now. We don't know what the egos look like. It's not sustainable. That's
and you know what? And truthfully, I know this is more of a soapbox thing, right? No, it really sucks for fans. It sucks for fans.
Oh, yeah.
Like it used to be where you would have program pillars that I know who I'm showing up and who I'm watching.
Right.
I know that name. I've seen that person play. I have a connection with that person. Like fans don't have connection with these teams like they used to because of the revolving door. It is every single year. I know that's more, that's not about on-floor basketball.
But still.
But it's the truth of the matter.
Yeah.
Like if PJ Haggerty was coming back next year, that's worth the price of admission to every single fan that's listening to the show right now. And you can't tell me otherwise.
It's hard for some fans to have allegiance when there's nothing outside of like Penny himself to have allegiance to, or the program history itself. There's no players to have allegiance to. There's no, like you're saying, there's no reason to show up, especially early in the season, maybe throughout the year, the team's playing really well. You get attached to a player, whatever. But it's not the same. It's not the same when you look and go, Jeremiah Martin, there are very few people in the country in college basketball circles that probably know the name Jeremiah Martin.
But his name gets brought up to this day, and he never was on a tournament team.
Every Memphis fan knows Jeremiah Martin, and every Memphis fan loved Jeremiah Martin because of his story and what he did in his final season at Memphis. And it's just like that's a thing of the past, at least for the moment. Who knows? Maybe things change and Memphis gets more continuity, but I'm right there with you. You got to feel bad for the fans because that's why you show up. It's because you love these players, you feel attached to these players, and they don't have that anymore.